Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel and thank you for watching. The video today is entitled Demonetization, Business or Hobby. You probably have seen several videos on YouTube here about the demonetization lately of ads for gun channels on YouTube. And you have to ask yourself, if you do what I'm doing right now, if you make these videos, is it a business or is it a hobby? And I'm afraid that some people don't understand the difference between the two, or they want to play both sides of the fence. So let's get into that. A hobby is something that you do for enjoyment, you do in your leisure time. Golf, for instance, maybe collecting stamps, shooting guns, maybe even buying and selling things, and maybe not making significant amount of money, but even making a little side money. It's considered a hobby. Business generates revenue, and by definition, revenue is a significant amount of money. Now, I have owned two businesses and operated them over the years. One being I was a mixed martial arts promoter. A lot of you guys probably don't know that. Promoted 19 events here in my hometown. Very conservative town, but we did it right, and we had a very quality, high-class production that we did, and so it did really well. That was a business. It generated revenue, and a very good revenue stream for about 4 years, as a matter of fact. It generated more money than I made in my full-time job, which allowed me to put ourselves in a position in our family where we could pay off some debt and that type of thing, and took a couple nice vacations as well. Now, on the other hand, I owned and operated a gym for 6 years, and I'm in my gym now, my smaller version of it that I built behind my home. But I used to have a separate building, and that's where the Poe Performance name came from, where I trained athletes in strength and conditioning, athlete preparation, to help them perform better, and then to avoid injuries. And so there was definitely a difference there. Now, there was a time where the gym, I would say, bordered on revenue, pretty significant amounts of money. It did okay, but nothing compared to what my mixed martial arts shows did. Now, some of you might be going, well, what does this guy know if both those businesses failed? Actually, neither one failed. Mixed martial arts promoting, the state of Indiana decided to get involved, and they did it because there were some podunk shows out in pole barns where people were just basically street fighting and calling it mixed martial arts, which it wasn't. So the state decided to get involved and impose huge fees. It would have cost me $3,500 to $3,800 per event, and nothing would have changed about my show. So instead of participating in what I consider to be a government racket, I just shut it down after 19 events. And on the other side, with the gym side, my schedule with my daughter playing college volleyball and then my son, who plays multiple sports, and his schedule, I felt like I couldn't provide a quality product anymore to the athletes that were paying me good money. Their parents were paying me good money to prepare them for their upcoming seasons, in-season training, post-season. It was basically year-round. And I had to manipulate the schedule too much to where I just I couldn't make myself available enough to them due to family commitments. So I shut the gym down for that. Both were successful. Again, one was more of a hobby, although it teetered on revenue at one time. The mixed martial arts promoting was definitely revenue. It was a business. Now, the difference between the two, for you gun channel guys out there who don't understand, if you're making a few $100 a month, or you were off YouTube ads, that's not revenue, guys. So don't get it confused with revenue. And before I go any further, too, please, guys, don't get ticked off. Don't get upset at me. Don't downvote me because you think I'm trying to bash you. I contemplated even doing this video, but I feel like I need to because I just think there's some lines that have been blurred here, and we need to clarify some things. So for you guys out there, you're like me. You enjoy doing this because it's fun. It's in your leisure time. You go to the range, you hook up a camera, and you have fun. Now, admittedly, my videos aren't the highest production ever. As you can see, this is my gym. We've got can lights overhead. I only need enough light in here to train, to lift weights and work out in here. I don't need lights enough to do a whole production for my YouTube videos. And I wouldn't spend a huge amount of money on lights in the hopes that someday my channel grew to the point where I could be monetized. And an example, I'll tell you what I'm seeing out there, okay, is you have people like bigger channels now. And what they're saying is that, I've heard this quote, well guys, you know, when we started out, we were just using my iPhone, or we were using a cheap camera, and as my channel grew, we decided to invest and put some money into this. Well, how did your channel grow to begin with? It was probably because you had content that people actually like to watch. And that's what made your channel grow to begin with. My channel, I feel like the content I put out, if I didn't feel it was any good, I wouldn't do it. I don't just like to hear myself talk. As a matter of fact, I don't do a whole lot of videos for that reason. If it's not something I feel that is an experience I can share, or a product review that I want you guys to be aware of, good or bad, I'm not going to waste my time and yours doing it. And so I'm not concerned with an expensive camera. You know, I've used 2 different cameras. Right now I'm on my phone, and it's actually a good quality phone camera, but you know, the lighting in here isn't made for doing videos. But guys, I'm not shooting movies or Hollywood movies or commercials. So, you know, I just want to put good content out. And my channel's grown from 280 some subscribers about 2 years ago to just over 800 now. And I've done it, I think, with content, being honest and being fair with who I am, and giving credit where it's due, and just trying to be good to people out here in the gun community and gun culture. Now, on the other end of that, you get guys like, you know, Travis Haley and Hickok 45, and I'm going to miss some guys, so don't be offended if I do. You know, guys who are monetized and who have made some good money. These guys also paid their dues when they were very small channels, so they got in on the wave to where it actually became revenue. Now, guys like that, like McNamara, Haley, Vickers, Kyle DeFore, John Lovell, if I were going to support any of these guys financially through Patreon, PayPal, or whatever, I'm going to go to their classes, or I'm going to send them money, because they have paid their dues, and these guys have lived it. These guys have been in special operations. Dave Spalding, you know, police officer. Those are the guys I'm going to give money to. Because listen, guys, the content out here from hobbyists like you and I isn't that much different. So don't think that you're offering anything so unique that we can't live without it, okay? And I'm talking about myself also. If my YouTube channel went away tonight, nobody out there is going to be crying, saying, man, I miss Brian Poe Performance. He had the best channel ever. I just get on here and talk because I enjoy it, and try to offer things that can benefit everybody. So we can't play 2 sides of the fence here, guys. We can't talk about growing our hobby to a business, and then once we hit a snag in the business, like we do right now with the monetization or demonetization, you can't say, well, it's a business, so give me money so my business can survive. Because if it's a business, here's what happens. You hit a snag, you hit a rough patch, you generate capital. How do you generate capital? Through investors or a loan. Now, do you think you could ever go to a bank and say, listen, it's a little rough right now, my business. You think maybe you could float me some cash so that I can keep going? And what I'm going to do is provide you with information. The bank's going to laugh at you, and they're going to say, no, I think you're going to pay the money back, and you're going to do it with interest, okay? That's a business. That's the way capitalism works, okay? On the other hand, a hobby, if you admit that you just have a hobby, guys, and you want people to finance it, I'm embarrassed. And again, this isn't to bash you guys out there, but that would be like me being a golfer and asking you to finance my golf hobby. Collecting baseball cards or coins and saying, you know, the card market's down a little bit. If you guys want to donate to me every month, I'll be able to buy more baseball cards and tell you how cool they are. It's ridiculous. And it really is. It's disheartening, to be honest. I expect a lot out of the gun community and the gun culture. And some of you guys, you look at this freedom thing like it's in a bubble, you know, and the freedom that flag behind me provides. It also provides freedom to companies like YouTube to say, we don't want advertisement on gun channels, or for advertisers to say, we don't want our ads to go on gun channels. Guys, it's their freedom. It's their right to do so. Do I like it? Absolutely not. No, none whatsoever. But at the same time, we have to look at freedom from a high level and all-encompassing, and not just where it's convenient for us, okay? They hate the Second Amendment, and it's wrong. Well, you know, they've got a First Amendment right too, freedom of expression and speech, to say, we don't like what you're doing and we're not going to support it. And guys, if you don't appreciate that as part of our Bill of Rights, I think you're missing this whole freedom thing. And you need to reevaluate where you're at. And I'm just going to tell this story really quick in closing. Back in the early 90s, I was working my first factory job, and it was dirty, it was hot, it was metal fabrication, long hours, 115 degrees in the shop, you know, 90, 95 degrees on third shift, so overnight. Just a brutal first job. And I thought, man, if this is what factory work is, I don't know if I want to do this my whole life. But anyway, there was a layoff, and during that layoff period, I delivered coupon books. Got $3 a piece, delivered them all over our city, even out into the county. And I did it because I felt like, and I don't say this in a bragging way whatsoever, guys. I'm just telling you what cloth I'm cut from. I feel like a man should earn his keep, earn his money. And if he can't earn enough money to pay his bills or to make his hobbies, then go generate more money. Don't ask for money from other people to support your hobby, okay? And if you want business, if you have a business, you want people to support your business, be prepared to pay them back with interest. Otherwise, it's not a business. That's not the way it works, okay? Nobody wants information back. They want their money back. That's why they invest. So anyway, I'm working this job. We go through a layoff, and I refuse to take unemployment. Even though you pay into it, I didn't feel like I'd earned it, okay? So I go for a while. Jobs were hard to find in the early 90s. Economy wasn't great. And so I decided the coupon book thing would help me get by. It wasn't going to pay the bills. So finally, I had to humble myself. Fine, I'll do the unemployment thing. So I do unemployment. I collected one unemployment check, and I've got to tell you guys, I prayed to God on the way to the bank that I didn't see anybody I knew. I was humiliated and embarrassed that that check in my hand wasn't handed to me by my boss, that it had been, you know, for the months and years prior that I was in a full-time workforce. I didn't feel like I'd earned that money, and I was humiliated and embarrassed to have to go and cash that check. But I had to do it. I had to support my family. I had a young son and a wife at the time, and I also understood I'm going to have to humble myself just to make ends meet for a while. Thank God after I cashed that check, I believe it was within 3 or 4 days after, they called us back to work. And I felt like I was earning my money again. And again, I'm not saying this to be braggadocious whatsoever. I'm saying this to let you guys know how times have changed from 25 years ago until now, where back then, before I was even a gun carrier, I was a hunter, but I didn't carry a gun. I still felt like I needed to earn my money. And nowadays, we've got guys who carry guns daily. They have a hobby, and things get tough, and all of a sudden they start asking people to support their hobby. In my mind, guys, my old school mind, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't register with me. I can't fathom in my life asking somebody else to finance my hobby. I wouldn't do it for anything. It just wouldn't happen. So, guys, if you have to downsize the camera you bought, if you have to sell it and go with a lesser camera, or if you can hang on to it for a little while until maybe some of this revenue comes back, do it. But I'm begging you, please, as a fellow member of the gun community, the gun culture, a lover of that flag back there, and all of the rights we have in this country, please, guys, stop begging for money. It's embarrassing, and it just shouldn't be happening. So, guys, that's it. Not really much of a rant, just my opinion, my thoughts on this demonetization thing. Hope I didn't offend anybody out there. If I did, maybe your skin needs to thicken up a little bit. Get back to some of that old school thinking that, you know, somebody gives a little correction or advice and I don't get my little feelings hurt over it. And I think the world will be a lot better place. We can't let this gun community go the way of the rest of the society and the way it is. It's gone soft, guys. And as gun carriers, Second Amendment lovers, and freedom lovers, under the umbrella of that flag back there, we have to be different, we have to be better, we have to be tougher. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Leave your comments below. And I always appreciate you guys watching. I'm humbled by it, as I've said before. So Till next video, guys, you take care and be safe.